sisters said you would come. They saw you arrive in the water's surface. They did not see the girl, but she is with you, is she not?
I'm here alone.
A lie which will change nothing. First you, then her.
Welcome to another Witcher lore video, guys. So this character has been suggested to me quite a lot over the time that I've been doing YouTube, and I simply didn't cover this character as I don't like to cover similar subjects one after another. I like to spread it out a bit, make things a bit more interesting, not just for me, but for you guys. But then I thought to myself, it has actually been a while since I've covered anything in the Wild Hunt, so I've decided to make today's video on Imlerith. So as always with these videos, I'm going to begin with some very basic information on this character. To begin with, Imlerith is an NL elf. And if you don't know what NL elves are, they are basically the elves from the other world. So you could include Avalach, Eredin, and Caranthea as an NL elf, but someone like Iorveth would be an Enshe. It's a little bit confusing if you don't know the lore that well, but just for now, know that Imlerith is an elf from a different world. Imlerith also serves as a Wild Hunt general under Eredin, so he is one of Eredin's key generals, which include Imlerith and Caranthea. And if you want to find out more about the latter general, be sure to check out my video on Caranthea. Imlerith not only acts as a general to the Wild Hunt, but he is also a very skilled warrior, whose power is unmatched by anyone else in the Wild Hunt, except for of course his fellow general Caranthea, or the king of the Wild Hunt himself Eredin, but just from a physical aspect, he is the strongest character out of all of them. So as I'm sure you'll know if you've played the games yourself, Imlerith's weapon pairing of choice is a large mace and shield. Imlerith also appears to possess the ability to teleport, as is shown to us when fighting him as Geralt in The Witcher 3. So this shows us that he's also quite well versed in magic, not on the level as say someone like Caranthea, but he still must have quite good magical abilities to be able to accomplish this. Not much is shown about this character's origins, but we can theorise that he was most likely just quite a skilled warrior in the world of the NL, and possibly, after seeing the promise that this elf showed, Eredin may have decided to make him a general of his personal army, the Wild Hunt. However, that is all just a theory, and as of yet nothing has been confirmed about his distant past, except a small detail that whilst Geralt was a member of the Wild Hunt, he and Imlerith considered each other as acquaintances. I will next read to you Imlerith's full story just before the games and during the games. Imlerith's role throughout The Witcher 3 was a much more important role than I imagine a lot of you will be aware of, because generally he's just sort of in the back, you don't really see much of him, you have a fight with him, he's clearly an important person, but you're never quite told what he does. So his role as a Wild Hunt general includes not only working out strategies for the Wild Hunt battles with Eredin and Caranthea, but his role is also to help assist in the search for the child of the Elder Blood, Ciri, because you see, Imlerith was acquainted with the witches of Crookback Bog. And when Eredin issued the order to the Wild Hunt that Ciri be captured, Imlerith ordered the crones to keep an eye out for her, because as I'm sure you'll know, the crones have an eye and literally an ear to all of Velen. And if you want to find out more about the crones, I've actually made a video on them, so if you want to go and watch that, you'll be able to find it on my channel. As I'm sure you'll know, before the main events of The Witcher 3, Ciri did in fact arrive in Velen, and after being ensnared by the crones, was almost captured by Imlerith, as the crones had kept their promise and told Imlerith of her arrival. But just as he arrived, Ciri broke free, and even though he pursued her on horseback, she managed to escape. So this does show us the importance of Imlerith, as if he hadn't ordered the crones to keep an eye out for Ciri, perhaps she may have never been found by them. It's very possible she might have been found by them, but if Imlerith hadn't issued the order to deliver her to him, crones may have just simply eaten her, or used her blood in some sort of magic. So his order to the crones clearly had a knock-on effect on the rest of The Witcher 3. So after the event with the crones, we don't see this general for a long time, as he next appears at the Battle of Kaer Morhen. Imlerith had gone to Kaer Morhen with Caranthea and his leader Eredin, in pursuit of Ciri, and whilst there, surprised Geralt, along with his hunting party, who had decided to try and destroy as much of the Wild Hunt infantry as they could, and also close as many of the Wild Hunt portals as they could, and they planned to do this before the Wild Hunt could even reach the keep. However, after Geralt saw the Wild Hunt general, him and his hunting party decided that it would be best to return to the keep and face the general when they had more support. Imlerith pursued them, but the witches made it back to their keep, and closed the main gate, blocking Imlerith's entry along with his soldiers. This caused Imlerith to become angry, and heavily pound his mace onto the gate. The Wild Hunt later breached Kaer Morhen's walls, and used their frost magic to freeze all the inhabitants, except Ciri, Vesemir, and Avalark, all of which had been protected by some sort of barrier. From here, Imlerith engaged in a fight with Vesemir, defeated him, and in the process gave Eredin the opportunity to obtain Ciri, except Vesemir managed to break away and use the Ard sign on Ciri, pushing her away from Eredin. Imlerith, under Eredin's orders, then held the Old Witcher as a hostage, whilst Eredin demanded that Ciri come with them in exchange for his life. Vesemir then stabbed Imlerith and caused him to go into a rage, snapping the Old Witcher's neck without any effort. This decision by Imlerith caused Ciri to go into a frenzied state, which in turn released the full power of the Elder Blood on the Wild Hunt. Seeing that both Eredin and Imlerith were outmatched by this power, Caranthea opened a portal in which Imlerith quickly retreated to, followed by Caranthea and Eredin. So even though it may not seem like it at first, Imlerith's decision to kill Vesemir was actually a major event in the Witcher universe. Because you see, Ciri was willing to give herself up to Eredin, and therefore she would have been used to let Eredin bring his army over to the Nordling world and then take over. But because Vesemir stabbed Imlerith and Imlerith overreacted and then killed Vesemir, it allowed Ciri to go into this frenzied magical state and then basically almost kill them all. So if Imlerith hadn't killed Vesemir after he'd been stabbed, then Ciri would have probably given herself up to Eredin. And I personally find all that very interesting. Anyway, after those events, Imlerith remained with his fellow generals, contemplating their next move. But then the Sabbath arrived, an event that his acquaintances the Crones held in Velen. He attended this event and lay back in a throne, whilst being surrounded by succubi, and this was when the Witcher Geralt arrived. Geralt had been convinced to go and face Imlerith by Ciri, who had discovered Imlerith's location. The two then began a battle, and after a hard-fought fight, Geralt triumphs, and in the final moments of the battle, blasts Imlerith with a burst of Igni, causing Imlerith to acquire severe burns to both his neck and his head. It is after this that Geralt grabs Imlerith's mace and proceeds to use it to deal the final blow to the general. So personally, I find all of that very, very interesting. And I just want to briefly mention now that Imlerith is not a canon character to the books, as he was created by CD Projekt Red. But of course he is canon to the games, and personally I think the game's canon is just amazing anyway. But just so you know, he has no presence in the books whatsoever. Finally, to end today's video, I'm going to read the developer's comments, and then I'm going to read the journal entry on this character. Imlerith, one of the commanding officers of the Wild Hunt, is Eredin's right-hand man and most fervent supporter. This powerful and brutal warrior is a veteran of many wars of conquest the NL have waged against other worlds over the course of centuries. Imlerith prizes physical confrontation and direct, bloody battles, in which training, quickness, and strength determine who lives and who dies. Imlerith's armour is covered with blade marks, mementos earned during his thousands of battles. His high, heavy brassards protect his neck and shoulders as well as his head. Like the other warriors of the hunt, his chest is protected by armour with a reinforced open-work breastplate, stylized to resemble a bare ribcage. Steel gauntlets and decorated segmented bracers guard his hands and forearms, while his thighs, knees, and shins are covered by their own layer of armour. The whole ensemble combines to make this terrifying NL nearly invulnerable to all blows. Next, for the journal entry, Imlerith, a general of the Wild Hunt and a frequent guest in Geralt's nightmares. He had been chasing Ciri for quite some time, striving to deliver her to his ruler, Eredin. This powerful and brutal warrior had fought in countless battles and campaigns for conquest waged by the NL in other worlds. He prized physical confrontation above all else, seeking out direct, bloody skirmishes where opponents pit their strength, agility, and training against each other, in a contest to the death. Imlerith attacked Kaer Morhen along with the rest of the hunt. There, the keep's defenders witnessed heart-wrenching proof of this warrior's dangerous might. Vesemir, who had spent most of his long life with a sword in his hand, heroically stood to fight this foe. But, to everyone's great despair, was bested after a bloody and hard-fought confrontation, and perished at this monster's hands. Regardless of race or birth, most warriors share common desires and delights. Imlerith was no exception. Avalark informed Ciri that he was wont to wallow in corporeal pleasures, and would take advantage of his stay in our world to attend the Crone's Sabbath. Geralt and Ciri thus decided to meet him there and engage him in a final confrontation. Geralt won this battle, killing Imlerith, and thus avenging the death of his master, Vesemir. Anyway guys, that's the end of today's video. I hope you've all enjoyed it. It's been a really fun one to make. I love the Wild Hunt. I love all the characters in it. I think it's such a cool group in the Witch universe, and I'm honestly glad to cover the other general in the Wild Hunt, and obviously I'll do Eredin at some point in the future. And of course I'll also do a video on Gelel's, Eredin's Viceroy. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to click the like button as it really does help me out. It's very kind of you to do. These videos take a lot of effort and time, so clicking the like button just helps me, so thank you to every single person who does that. Also, of course, if this is the first video you're finding on my channel, be sure to subscribe. I do high fantasy lore videos every few days. I do Witcher parts, I do Oblivion parts, I do Elder Scrolls lore, Witcher lore, and plan to do some more things soon, so if you want to be in tune for all of that, be sure to subscribe. Also, of course, be sure to follow me on Twitter. I do updates on there whenever I can. I post stuff on there whenever anything interesting's happening. If I ever go live on Twitch, I'll post it on there, so if you want to be in tune for live streams or anything like that, be sure to go and follow me on Twitter. Also, of course, be sure to go and follow me on Twitch. I've been streaming some Dark Souls on there recently. That's been really fun to do. I've genuinely enjoyed playing Dark Souls, which is honestly surprising for me to say because I didn't at first, but I'm honestly getting into it as it's just so amazing. I genuinely am just enjoying that game. So if you want to be in tune for those live streams, be sure to go and follow me on there. And as always, a big thank you to the Patreon pledges. You guys are honestly just amazing. It's so kind what you do. Every single time I get a new pledger, every single time I see all these names, I just feel so grateful, and I just want to say thank you to every single one of you. You're all honestly amazing. I'm glad to put all your names at the end of these videos, and I just want to say thank you. All the links for everything I talk about in this outro are in the description. If you want to follow me on Twitch, Twitter, donate to me on Patreon, or join the Discord, they're all down there. So if you want to do any of that, be sure to go and check those links out. Anyway guys, I hope you've all enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Have an awesome rest of the week.